Hello, in this video I hope to raise awareness and start discussions about habitat loss and the devastating impact that it is having on wildlife. The idea for this video came from a fun anecdote my sister told me regarding deer roaming within her street. Now, my sister has lived within the area for over 3 years, and it isn't uncommon to see all sorts of wildlife when I visit her. Red kites, as seen within the video footage, can be seen and heard all of the time. I've also spotted smaller birds such as swifts, starlings, house sparrows. These moments are bittersweet as sadly all of these smaller species have declining populations. I've also seen the deer roaming around myself on occasion when I've been going to and from a house and feel like I've been privy to something incredibly special, as deer can be quite elusive. I'll insert a section of the video that she sent over to me just here. You'll see and hear the deer moving right in front of her house from right to left in the early hours of the morning. She remarked that at the time it was a noise that startled her and encouraged her to investigate. You may also just be able to notice the building site a hop and a skip over the road from the house, which personally makes the scenario a little heartbreaking. I quite often walk around her house and estate, but my first walk after she told me about the deer made me consider the estate in a different light than I had before. The estate is surrounded by building sites, disrupted land, noise pollution. You hear some of the building work that is ongoing within the audio of this video. This is ultimately for brand new homes for people, not for the animals that lived there before them. I've inserted different areas of the estate to show the extent of the disruption to the land. Where are the existing species supposed to go to access the resources that they desperately need? You may be able to hear that there are still signs of wildlife in the audio of this video. Bird song combines with the noise pollution of humans living their everyday lives and more houses being constructed. It would appear that even domesticated animals enjoy the estate. Spot the cats throughout the video. I often wonder and worry about the loss of habitat and biodiversity within the UK and the world. We are constantly surrounded by information that reveals the reality and horror of the situation, which led me to question about the wildlife here. So I decided to stay up all night and see what I found. Examples of habitat within the UK are 1. Coastal, 2. Marine, 3. Woodland, 4. Moorland, heath and mountain, 5. Grassland, 6. Freshwater, 7. Wetland, marshland, fen, 8. Farmland, hedgerows, 9. Meadows. There is clear biodiversity loss in all of these examples. The leading and accelerated causes of habitat destruction can be directly linked to humankind. We are responsible for the declining state of biodiversity globally. As described by the WWF, our planet is being harvested by human consumption. Our wild habitats are being manipulated to suit the needs and demands of people. Converting land for human use and consumption is not a new thing. Ancient civilizations have all made the land their own and benefited from its fruitfulness. The issue we have today is that the scale is so grandiose and inconsiderate that the natural world has been forced into a position in which it is unable to fully recover. An example from a daily newspaper this week reported that 250 yards, which equals 750 foot or about 229 metres of wildlife habitat, including established trees and river plantation, has been removed from the bank of the River Tone in a section that ran through Taunton in Somerset, as instructed by the Environment Agency for flood management purposes. I fail to see the logic of these actions due to the structural benefits that trees usually have on the landscape, and the timing could not be more tragic for breeding of local wildlife for nesting and spawning creatures. The main causes of habitat loss are 1. Agriculture, 2. Logging, 3. Extracting oil, gas and other natural resources via fracking or mining, 4. Trawling, 5. Urban civilization or sprawl. This includes housing, roads, other infrastructure, pipelines and other industrial developments that are ongoing. And number 6. Natural disasters, which are caused increasingly by climate change. Here's a little bit of background info about the estate. In the mid-2000s, over 5,000 new homes in nearly 1,000 acres of parkland were approved for construction, which is currently incomplete, with 10 to 15 years of construction still estimated in 2019 to be completed. The management of the estate hopes to provide a balanced modern community with amenities and green open spaces. Groundwork for the second phase of the site is currently ongoing, which would account for the intensive reworking of the land that can be witnessed on the estate. Frankly, I find it not only aesthetically but morally off-putting, as it feels it is at the expense of wildlife. The demand for housing, particularly affordable housing, is high due to the growing population, which hasn't gone unnoticed by myself, but I just wish that this need was being met in a more sustainable and considerate manner. To present a fair and balanced reflection of the estate management, it must be said that there are protected wildlife areas within the estate and intentions to have a 2-kilometre country wildlife site sandwiched within the phases of the estate for human and animals alike to thrive upon. There is also an on-site ecologist to protect the needs of the habitat and its wildlife. Due to compliance to the heritage management plan of the estate, areas have to be conserved due to Roman archaeology, which enables the landscape to be protected from an ecological perspective too. But I question, how far are their needs met and protected? Gardens, if houses have them, are small or closed off. Some even have little grass, are landscaped extensively, or even have artificial lawn like my sister's house. This was not her choice. This is a clear example of habitat fragmentation, and that can be extremely damaging for all wildlife that can be found here. Deer are just my focus in this video. I've literally just seen as writing this for my video that another instance of deer being upended by plans to build 1,000 houses in Stockton, Yorkshire has caused concerns. It would appear that my concerns may be possibly verified and noted by other British residents too, all over the UK. I'll pop links in the description to everything I have found so far. A study conducted by the RSPB, BirdLife International and the Czech Society for Ornithology conducted between 1980 and 2017 of 378 of the 445 UK and EU bird species released findings in November 2021 that 900 million birds have been lost in this period. An increase in some bird species makes this statistic around 600 million birds lost. That's just a decline in bird populations, which is directly impacted by the loss of hedgerows, trees, meadows, dunes, wetlands and other vital habitat that supports their survival. It is true to say that the deer population within the UK is at a 1,000-year high. This has been linked to less venison consumption due to the coronavirus pandemic preventing the public from eating out. There are concerns that this increase in population will impact on smaller mammal populations and the wider biodiversity if not managed. But just if, these animals had plenty of natural habitat, would this be such a pressing issue? I need to educate myself more to possibly have an answer for that. Here's a couple of facts about deer. Number 1, there are 6 species within the UK, 2 native, roe and red deer. The rest, Sitka, Chinese water deer, which have amazing tusks, fallow and muntjac have been introduced to the UK. Number 2, a group of deer is called a herd. Number 3, if you wanted to witness all 6 species of deer in a similar area, then you would need to go to East Anglia, particularly Norfolk, as this is the only area where all species are distributed together within the UK. And number 4, deer eat grass, leaves, fruits, berries and woody plants. They can cause some damage to trees when they eat the bark or shoots of the trees, hence why there is concerns for the wider diversity impact caused by increased deer population.
Would you like to all cross? Go on then.
If you are planning on seeing wildlife yourself, whatever time of day, then please be prepared. Be careful and be mindful of wildlife. I was not outside alone throughout the night. On a clear, windy, chilly evening, my sister and I ventured out into the estate by foot and later in the car at 3 different times, 9 to 10 p.m, just after 11 p.m, and between 1 and 2 a.m. I'll pop the footage of the deer just in here. It's kind of sad to see them within the estate. It appears somewhat unnatural, but the numbers suggest that they are managing to survive. Whether thriving is another entirely different question that would require much more research. I'm really sorry, but I'm unsure which species of deer I have managed to capture on camera. If anyone can tell me in the comments, then please let me know.
Okay.
I think it's when they were a bit more in a bit of a group. I don't know whether, like with people, there's this like fear that breeds when there's more fear to bounce off of.
Yeah. They're the ones that normally sit up here.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, on that bit.
Yeah. See, the grass is all short as well, because people keep it that way. I'll say goodbye now, as I will leave you with a poignant conversation that we had in the car on our way back to the house. My parting statement to you is a question. How does your life intertwine with the natural world? Is it positively or negatively? We should all work towards the first option. Bye bye for now. See you in the next video. Is this more?
Mm-hmm.
I can't put more light on them, sorry. I'm not going to. They're coming in. Hello, thank you.
And there's
Is that a
sometimes
cat?
Yeah.
Don't want to run the cat over either. Not really good attack.
Weird though, in the day humans claim it, at night time the animals do.
I was just sitting here thinking that in my head, that there's a freedom and a liberation for animals at night time, because the majority of us are gone, hidden away. It's, I don't know, there's a little bit of solace in that, isn't there? That they do get, there is some respite from humanity, and it has to be. I think in general that's just it's got to come from people. It can't just be just when they're not awake. It's got to be a conscious action and a conscious decision from people, not just when they're unconscious. But you're right. I just wish there was a way for them to reclaim more, really, more back than what poor circumstance they've been given. But to see that many, they're obviously thriving somehow, but what's it going to take to tip that balance? This place is quite clearly unfinished, isn't it? They're still building. So, anyway, let's go back. And if I ever get a considerable amount of money, I'm just going to snap up any land I can and keep it that way.